Okay, let's give it another 30 seconds and we'll start. Good morning and welcome. My name is Mark Stimfig, and for over a decade or more, I've helped and advised hundreds of UK tech and life science scale-ups land and expand internationally. Today, we're really going to focus on the lucrative life science ecosystems in Lausanne, Switzerland, nestled on the shores of Lake Geneva. And given the uncertainties elsewhere, we think that Lausanne provides a set of great and tangible opportunities for UK medtech, pharma, biotech, and digital health businesses for international and global growth. So this interactive session will focus on why over 1,200 companies thrive in the Canton of Vaud and how they connect with global players like Medtronic, the Merck Group, Nestlé Health Science, and also the region's world-class institutions and accelerators, including EPFL, Biopol, Lausanne, and Genolia Innovation Hub. And they create a really compelling launchpad for global growth. So I'm going to introduce you to an august panel of experts who will really develop that theme. Before I do, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And as the conversation goes on, we can incorporate those questions into the dialogue from this presentation. So without further ado, I'd like to thank our panelists, Philippa Clark from One Nucleus, Frederic Raymond from Innovo, the Economic Development Board, Olivier Philippe, the Director of Corporate Relations at Biopol, and Anna Louisa from Imply, who has had great success from growing their brand and landing it in Lausanne. If I can kickstart, if that's okay, with Philippa to set the scene about how things look from the UK. Philippa, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. So good morning, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today and represent One Nucleus. For those of you that don't know who One Nucleus are, we're a life science membership organisation headquartered in Cambridge, but we connect innovators all across the UK and beyond. So our mission at One Nucleus is simple. It's to connect companies, allow them to grow, collaborate, and compete globally. And we do this by building a series of networks across science, business, and investment. And I think this is exactly what today's conversation is all about. So looking at the UK life sciences sector at the moment, I would very much say it's at a crossroad. We certainly remain a powerhouse of innovation, from AI drug discovery, to advanced therapies, diagnostics, digital health, data science. And we continue to see our universities, research institutes and startups generate world-class innovation and preclinical breakthroughs. That said, though, we are starting to see some quite structural shifts. As we all know, there's been a notable reduction of large pharma in the UK, and I think this definitely changes the dynamics for partnerships, manufacturing, and that later stage investment. We've also seen funding conditions tightening, particularly with access to investors, especially those that really understand that kind of deep science. So that does remain a challenge. So while our innovation engine is incredibly strong, I think scaling and sustaining that success increasingly depends on how we connect internationally. So if we look historically at UK life science companies, typically many will look to North America, particularly the US, for growth capital, for those partnerships. And I think understandably, this will always remain an important route. But what we're seeing and hearing from our One Nucleus members and our wider community is that increased appetite to think more globally. And this is about exploring other ecosystems across Europe, Asia, and beyond. And if we look at these regions, they are heavily investing in life sciences infrastructure, which creates new opportunities for collaboration, for increased market access, but also that shared R&D. In terms of what this means for UK scale-ups, I think it means more diversity of funding, I think better alignment with partners, but I think above all, and what's most exciting, is that ability to grow beyond our national borders. And I would say this is very much where Lausanne comes into play. For me, it's an excellent example of an ecosystem that perfectly complements the UK. So if we look at Lausanne, it combines that cutting edge facilities with that academic depth, that very vibrant innovation culture. And what I particularly like is its strengths in medtech, biotech and precision medicine, which I think sit really naturally with the UK's ability in early discovery and data. By working together, I'm confident that we can bridge the preclinical innovation strengths of the UK with Lausanne's translational and industrial capabilities, so we can accelerate those new ideas from the lab to market much faster. So I think in short, the US sector is certainly brimming with potential, but I think to really fulfill that potential, we have to think globally. And I think if we can link our strengths with ecosystems like Lausanne, we can definitely ensure that that world-class UK innovation continues to thrive. We can scale faster, collaborate smarter. But I think overall, it's about making a bigger impact on global health and sustainability. So with that, I will now hand you over to the team for the rest of the session.
Philippa, thank you. Thank you very much for that scene set. And the word that springs out from me from what you just said is innovation. And very much, Frederick, if you could maybe expand on that theme in terms of setting the scene about how innovation permeates everything that happens in Lausanne through Innovo.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. Good morning, everyone. My pleasure to give you a short overview in the next 5-10 minutes about the Lausanne area. Maybe just to start with, I'm part of Innovo, which is the economic promotion agency for the state of Vaud. And our role is first, of course, to help foreign companies to establish roots here in the region, but we also have some other missions which are here dedicated to the local ecosystem, so helping local entrepreneurs to start a new company and expand their business also internationally. So we have different team and different initiatives that can also be useful once a company is based here in the region to really flourish a bit more easily in the somehow difficult environment because of the number of stakeholders that we have. It's always good to have someone that can help you navigate in this environment. So that's just for the intro regarding Innovo. And then regarding the ecosystem. So Lausanne is really at the heart of what we call the Swiss Health Valley because of the number of life science companies that we have here in the region. It's more than 1,200 companies that are acting in this particular field of life sciences. It represents more than 30,000 employees, a lot of students, we have a lot of academic research institutions. So as Philippa said just before, I think we match pretty well also with the type of environment that you have in the UK. And this is just a snapshot to give you a flavor about the types of companies that are based in the region. I put there only just a few, but you can see that the diversity is quite big in large medtech companies, pharmaceutical business, also digital health. So you'll find here in the region companies that have also the decision power to help you develop your product and expand your markets easily. And I think this is one of the big strengths of Switzerland as a whole, but in our region in particular. And also for people who maybe do not know the region pretty well, Lausanne has become a very important hub for research and development in oncology, focusing mainly on immunotherapies, and with also a bench of stakeholders that can really link fundamental research with the clinics, with also some infrastructure for translational research that allows companies also to develop phase 1 studies with these research institutions and the clinical performers that are really here in Lausanne to help new technologies reach the patients. And maybe regarding the framework conditions that we offer in Switzerland, when you want to expand into another country, I think it's really important to have a context that allow you really to deal with what you want to deal in terms of business. And Switzerland is offering very secure business conditions. It's a very stable country in terms of economy and political system. The currency is relatively strong, which is also an asset when you invest in Swiss francs. At least you will not lose any part of this money because of exchange rates. We have very attractive corporate tax rates, and this is also part of the framework conditions that are put by the government in Switzerland. Here in the canton of Vaud, it varies between 14 and 15%, depending on the size of the company and the profits that they've made. We also have, thanks to this federalistic organization that we have in Switzerland, small states, so people that are really here to help you, and even the political authorities are people that are reachable. You can discuss with them, you can really get answers to your questions, which is not always the case in our jurisdictions. And also Switzerland is a very attractive place to access talents. We are recruiting for all over Europe nowadays. It's quite easy because we have the free migration of people with the European Union. And also it's a big mix. It's really multicultural. Here in the canton of Vaud, for instance, we have more than a third of the population which is non-Swiss, which also help people find their way when you come to another country to meet with your peers from your mother country. And independence in the heart of Europe. So as you know, as the UK also, we are not part of the European Union, which also gives us a certain flexibility to do business as we wish to do that. And finally, Switzerland has put in place quite a lot of free trade agreements with many countries, of course, the European Union, but we were the first in Europe to have one with China. We have also a free trade agreement with Japan. We just started a new one with India. We are discussing with Mercosur. So it's also a nice way for companies that are based in Switzerland to manage their international operations. And also, Switzerland is really well recognized for the quality of the products that we are putting on the market. And the Swiss-made label can also be something interesting for companies from abroad to benefit from this very nice image of Switzerland. And I would like just also to mention for the life science companies mainly that Switzerland is part of this Access Consortium, so which means that if you have a medicine approved in the UK, you are also able to sell it in Switzerland as well as Canada, Australia, and Singapore. So that's already one step towards the market. And we also have a mutual recognition agreement with the US regarding the good manufacturing practices, which means that if some drug is produced in Switzerland, FDA does not need to repeat all the checks and controls that have been done by the Swiss authorities, which is called Swissmedic. And finally, the Parliament has approved also the fact that we could accept on the Swiss market FDA-approved medical devices. The law still needs to be put in place in Switzerland. Normally, we heard that this should be in place in the next 18 months, something like that. But this could also be a big asset for Swiss companies, because if you have the Swissmedic label, which means that you can also access the US market more easily. So this is, in a nutshell, what I wanted to say to set the scene, but we'll have afterwards some more detailed discussion. Thank you.
Frederick, thank you so much. what strikes me just about that presentation are a few words that phrases: expertise, innovation, research development, all of which I think play into Olivier and what you do to support companies from Biopol. Tell us more, Olivier.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks also, Philippa and Frederic, for the first introduction on the ecosystem and the connection. Again, that's key to build bridges between Switzerland and UK. And we have a good example also around the table of this exchange, having UK-based companies at Biopol and from all over the globe. So Biopol, just in short, so we are, and that's the big campus behind me. It's probably one of the largest in Europe, dedicated to life sciences. We're a private company, state-owned, and not for profit. So all the energy we put in the development of the ecosystem is to connect our companies, our members, so based on site, to take advantage of the Lausanne region, of course, but the whole all what the Switzerland has and can offer. And also outside, because we're well connected with a lot of different clusters and hubs across the globe. But more than just buildings, as you can see behind me, it's really about innovation. So we build our reputation as a major innovation hub, offering strong support to companies. So via innovation space, innovation programs, access to a large ecosystem. So that's part of our DNA. We're not real estate guys. We're really part of the startup ecosystem and help any players to grow their collaboration, their research, their science, their business, their fundraising. So in short, we mean infrastructure. You need the best one. I mean, it's very crucial to bring the right infrastructure at the right time, of course. And it's always a challenge, but I mean, we're pretty good in that, to support the growth of the companies. So we offer a full range of let's say, flexible innovation space, which are unique in Switzerland, from co-working lab space, semi-private, private, bespoke, whatever lab space, and so on. So there's a full offering, which is very important when the companies need to scale. You can start small and stay small, or you can start small and go much bigger. And you can really benefit from this flexibility and this scalability that we offer at Biopol. It's crucial also to be in a premium location, and we are quite well set here at Biopol. I mean, of course, we have a spectacular view on lakes and mountains, but I mean, public connection to public transportations, a lot of services and on-site amenities. So that's key also when you hire the best talent to have the right services and the best offer on site. So we tick also a lot of boxes in this area. But more importantly, I mean, again, it's not just about the buildings, the location, and so on. It's about the proximity also of world-class research organizations that are on site at Biopol or close by. Of course, the University of Lausanne, the Lausanne University Hospital, the Ludwig Institute for Cancer Research, and other research organizations are just next door. And this makes also a big difference in of collaboration. So really build connections, connecting the dot between the companies that are on site and also the academic and research centers that are also just next door or close by, like EPFL, as we mentioned, or the CHUV Medical Center, so Lausanne University Hospital Medical Center, which is just walking distance from Biopol. So proximity is key for innovation. I would also add that diversity is also key. That's how you can really drive innovation. So when you join Biopol, you join a vibrant community of right now 170 companies on campus, all size, all industry and licenses, so biotech, pharma, medtech, digital health, diagnostic, and so on. So you really join a network of seasoned entrepreneurs and CEOs. So a lot of success stories, of course, especially in the scale-up, I would say, phase. So let's take the example of Orbis Medicine, technology from EPFL, funded by Novo Nordisk. raised about 100 million. So they based for lab facility at Biopol and developing research at Biopol. Haya Therapeutics, very famous spin-off from the hospital, raised 90 million. We connected them to the venture science team in London back in 2019, actually, and they finally signed a deal last year with Lilly for 1.3 billion. So that's, again, what we can add on the table to the companies, or let's say Ichnos Glenmark Innovation, which is a spin-off of the big Glenmark Pharma, an Asian company headquartered in New York, and R&D at Biopol. They signed a 1.3 or 2 billion deal with AbbVie recently. So there's iron science from the research organization, from the companies based on site. So it's a lot about R&D and innovation, and we have to support this transition from academia to more corporate, and we do this via a number of programs. By programs, I mean we have a startup fund, and we have also an accelerator in health tech. So we provide the right networks, the right experts to help the companies to continue their development, their science, and also to put them with the right business experts in the region. Very important. I mean, the talent acquisition is key. It's the main driver for the companies, and you can tap into a big talent pool, 40,000 talented licensees. And again, we're very attractive here at Biopol, being at the heart of this big ecosystem. And more broadly in Switzerland, it's about 140,000 licensed employees you can tap into, and of course you can attract the best talent from abroad. And we have the right infrastructure here, the right setup, so that you can have them on board here. So we, in terms of funding, have awarded, and again, we're not for-profit company, so we are not here to, let's say, enrich investors. We're here to support the development, the economy, the innovation. We have awarded 1.5 million to Biopol-based startups on campus, and Ana Luisa with Implis is a good example. The Vanguard program is also a health tech program, which is open to any international companies, and especially UK. And Ana Luisa went also through this program, and also other accelerators and programs we have here in the region. So it's a full ecosystem which can really support your technology development, your talent acquisition, and so on. So yeah, just to sum up, we offer a lot of things at Biopol. It's always a case-by-case scenario. We don't care about square meters. It's really about science and innovation. So connect with us, visit us, and happy to think about how we can help you in your development. Yeah, so this is in a nutshell.
Olivier, thank you so much. Really fascinating to see how this ecosystem has been built out and what it's based upon. And of course, now we have some proof positive of how UK companies thrive in that ecosystem. Ana Luisa, tell us more about Impli.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Ana Luisa. Sorry to interrupt you. We have two questions which are linked with the two last presentation of Frederic and Olivier. The first one is from Ewa Fiorentino Rosek for Frederic Roman. You mentioned it that Swissmedic label will facilitate FDA entry for medical devices. Frederic, can you elaborate a bit more on this?
Yes, actually, the idea behind the new law that should be put in place is that FDA-approved products could access the Swiss markets. Somehow the same as what we had with the European Union, with the CE marking and these kind of things. In the past, we had a mutual agreement with the European Union, so that people who got the CE mark in the EU could market their product in Switzerland. And this is somehow the same idea, is to accept FDA-approved product on the Swiss market. So which means also that if you follow somehow the rule of the FDA to develop your product and then get the Swissmedic label, you will have the mutual recognition agreement with the US. So based on that, it facilitates a lot of the access to the American market if you follow, of course, the rules of the FDA. So that's the idea behind. Of course, the first idea for the politicians was to let the patients and the hospitals and so on to have access to FDA approved drugs and medical devices. But of course, as this is bilateral, this also offers the opportunity for Swiss-based companies to export their product more easily to the US.
And sorry, go ahead.
It works both ways, as you say. So does it mean that once you have the Swissmedic label through the CE marking, would it be easier to get the FDA approval for Merck?
Yes, exactly. That's the idea behind it. It should go both ways.
Oh, that's
But again, unfortunately, the law is not in place yet, so this is not applicable yet.
Yes.
But in the next 16 months, 18 months, it should come into place normally.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much.
And we have another question from Chris Laurent to Frederic and Olivier, both of you. Can you elaborate on the ties with InnoSwiss in addition to Innovo, if any, and what would this bring to company like ours when settling in Lausanne?
So maybe I just take it again. We have very close names between InnoSwiss and Innovo, but unfortunately, we have no link together. Innovo is really dedicated to the local innovation ecosystem and trying really to help entrepreneurs in their journey. InnoSwiss is a funding agency at the Swiss level to finance R&D projects. And the main part of what they do is really to finance projects that are run between a company and an academic lab, with the idea to transfer expertise from the academia into the product and then benefit the society. So companies that are based in Switzerland can actually apply for this kind of grants, which are quite important, by the way, and you can get up to 1 million Swiss francs for running a project. And this allows really companies to access expertise and knowledge with a very nice framework which is put in place so that the companies benefit from the IP which is generated from these projects. So this is a very widely used tool in Switzerland to develop new products.
Yeah, and just maybe to add one more thing. I mean, you can combine all these grants and from InnoSwiss, from the Confederation, also Innovo. I mean, Sedovo as an innovation fund. We have also some funding capabilities, so you can benefit from all these. So let's say there's a strong ecosystem on the funding side from for non-dilutive funding that you can get here in Switzerland. And this is very well, let's say, this is very popular in the innovation ecosystem. And InnoSwiss is a great tool, but again, you can duplicate, triplicate projects, whatever, and also combine different sources of funding via the at the canton level, at the national level.
Thank you, both of you. I let Ana Luisa to start her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, and thank you so much, Olivier and Frederic. We're blessed to be supported by both and to be part of that ecosystem. We're a spin out from Imperial College in London, which we originally came from, and we've built a small implantable platform that enables us to monitor different biomarkers in real time. And that's really important because at the moment, we only get time shots when we measure blood levels, and we're quite used to it from the continuous glucose monitoring space, where we kind of get that continuous data and therefore understand the fluctuations. But this is really relevant for other applications as well. And this is why we've built what we've built. Our first device application is in women's health, measuring reproductive hormones. We measure estradiol, progesterone, and luteinizing hormone. And our first applicable market of continuous data sampling is in IVF treatment, because infertility is a huge problem. It affects 1 in 6 of us. It's a growing problem. In Japan and Korea, we're already in declining population in the world. The US has just announced reimbursing IVF treatment. So this is a growing market for for us to tap into. And if we go to the next slide, Frederick, and really is relevant for the use case that we have. A woman undergoing IVF goes into the clinic every 2 days or every day to draw blood. That data is then analyzed by doctors, and the specific timing is relevant for dosing or decision-making, but success rates are extremely low. We have about a 15 to 30% success rate at the moment of IVF treatment actually resulting in live birth rates. And this is where we want to improve the convenience for women being able to get monitored from home, improve the decision-making of doctors by actually collecting the data that's relevant for the timing and dosing decisions, and ultimately, of course, improve outcome rates from this. If we go to the next slide, please. We work with aptamer-based sensors. These are small single-stranded DNA sequences coupled with electronics, and our data shows that we have more sensitive and selective sensors than current gold standards on the market. We're up with first in human trials early next year, so that's a really exciting milestone for us and where we're going. If we go to the next slide, please. And our platform really goes into the hardware biotech software interface, where we're a bio interface that sits between. We have, and I'll talk a little bit about the journey that we've taken to come from the UK to Switzerland, because I think that's the most relevant, but we've been blessed to be backed by a lot of backers in both ecosystems. We spun out the IP in 2021 and started collaborating with our manufacturer, Yalosys, who are based in Switzerland. And so this is really where our IP journey started in Switzerland, because there is extreme know-how on many levels, large companies, small companies, medium-sized companies in the medical device field that was extremely relevant to the product that we were building. So we raised 1.2 million, and that enabled us to expand our work. That enabled us to also get funding from InnoSwiss, which was just mentioned. We started with a Vanguard program, which brought us into the Biopol environment, which was fundamental to us to meet the right partners, to be connected, to launch in Switzerland and find the right ecosystem. And we then started to collaborate with CSEM broader. In 2024, we then collaborated with Bayer, which is also from the Swiss side, and finally have just closed a funding round now to expand that work that we're doing. We are splitting ourselves 50-50 in the two regions, and it's actually really nice to work between the two because they give you a perfect ecosystem. In the UK, we've got a lot of innovation work. We've got a lot of really great institutions that we work with that enable us to do work. We have a great clinical research environment. And in Switzerland, we really benefit from the precision manufacturing approach and the elements of that have really strengthened us from that side, and the ecosystem it provides in terms of companies that are based here and talent that is based here that is really impressive. So I'm happy to help anyone who's looking to expand into the region or looking for advice to also give that advice from a startup perspective, because sometimes it looks a bit like a jungle, but there's actually a very clear path. And yeah, and happy to bring that on board.
Anna Louisa, thank you so much for that incisive description of how you've grown. And what it seems to me, I use this phrase a lot, a Lausanne launchpad. And I'd like to come back, if I may, to Frederick and Olivier and yourself, Anna, about how important Lausanne is, not simply as a market in itself, but its access to across Europe and globally, and how that's both helped Imply and supported by Biopol and Innovo. Frederick, could you maybe kickstart with that sort of that global connectivity?
No, sure, with pleasure. And this somehow goes back to what we tried to explain so far. Is again, our role is to connect the dots for the entrepreneurs. And here in the region, you have such a large density and variety of companies, academic research institutions, that allows us to open the right doors at the right moment for the companies. Of course, you still need to keep your hat of entrepreneurs and knock at the doors and really find your path for what you want to do. But we are here really to support and help the entrepreneurs in this journey. And I think, again, this is the mix that we have in Switzerland, which is very strong. And Louisa also mentioned the quality of the manufacturing, also in other fields than only life sciences. You know, we are the watchmakers for quite a long time. So you can also benefit from other sectors of activities to develop life sciences products. So I mentioned the watch industry, but you'll find the same in the IT, and the IT space is becoming stronger and stronger and more relevant for the life science sector as well. So all this bench of competencies that you can find in Switzerland are really helpful to develop your business.
Because Anna Louisa, a lot of your market is global, isn't it? I mean, you do a lot of work into North America and elsewhere. It's a sort of not localized to one particular region, is it?
Absolutely, Mark. IVF or infertility is a global issue. We are going after the US market first. That's our first go-to market that we're targeting. I think both Switzerland and the UK are very unique in that way, that they have a very global approach and outlook into understanding how entrepreneurship works in that, and I think that both sides we can really leverage that, which is great. We then have markets in Asia that are really interesting for us to grow into, and for example, we were supported by Venture Lab, which is also a Swiss ecosystem provider, who took us to India to understand the Indian market. That's really relevant for us because they have a lot of environmental issues driving infertility, and so it's really like Launchpad is a great word, Mark. It's really that Launchpad, pad that enables us to look beyond the borders and understand where our business is most relevant and how to build the best go-to-market strategy to mean that that we are successful at our mission to enable this for people, not just for people in one small region.
And that comes on then to, obviously, from Olivier's perspective, that whole phrase keeps coming up whenever we talk about the region: innovation, research, development, and how important that is to what you do, Olivier.
This is very important, and again, this proximity and this connectivity to the academic centers, especially in the region across Switzerland. Again, Switzerland is a small village of 8 million inhabitants, so we have to take advantage of this network. We do it. It's not just because we're based in Lausanne and owned by the state of Vaud, that we do not go much broader. And most of our companies, they need international networks. They need to be connected to the right players. But Switzerland as a market is not really a market per se, because it's a small local market, I would say. But the potential for business and for research development is just huge. I mean, all the major players are here, and all our companies, they go global. So that's very important to build this network and to nurture this network. And just maybe one example, I mean, HTC Therapeutics, which is from UK originally, is a Swiss unicorn, went NASDAQ 5 years ago, IPO, and they are headquartered at Biopol. So they've been able to, again, select the right spot for their development. And that's a good illustration on how international we are, and how these let's say biotech developers can grow and do IPO actually to NASDAQ. We have the case of Vault Global. It's UK, originally from UK, two co-founders. I think now they're probably 25, 30 people, so they grew quite fast at Biopol. They do an AI solution for patient recruitment in rare diseases. So they work with the top 100 pharma, and most of these pharma players, they are in Switzerland. So we connected them a lot with the ecosystem. So this really helped to start the business and grow. So this is where we are quite also instrumental, is building the right connections. We are not doing the fundraising or the business development of companies, but we bring a maximum opportunities to these companies so that they can develop their company. Yeah, so this is in a nutshell. I mean, the level of science, and this is quite comparable to what you have also in the UK, of course, but it's a big concentration for a small territory if we consider Lausanne region or just Switzerland as a country. So there's a big potential to tap into, again, for BD, for research and so on. And we are, let's say, a major facilitator, catalyzer for innovation. And again, we rely on a big network that we help our companies to take advantage of.
And Frederick, obviously we touched on this earlier with FDA approvals, but the credibility of Switzerland in terms of compliance and regulation again goes well beyond its border, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I wanted to mention before with the Swiss label, which is really well recognized. And beyond that, somehow, in Switzerland, you have a standard of care which is very high, because by chance, we are a rich country, so a lot of infrastructure and investment goes into the healthcare system, which means that in Switzerland, we are also used to access the latest innovation in healthcare, which means that somehow when a company starts a new business here, you can validate a product if it is accepted by the market, by the Swiss markets, then I think you have pretty much chances that it will also succeed in other markets. So somehow it's a difficult one because you need to be at the top levels of what you propose. It's also complicated because, we have 3 different languages plus English normally. So it's already 4 different languages to manage, different jurisdictions, these kind of things. So again, I think it's a very good test market for companies.
What also strikes me from an Englishman sitting here in London is how warm and welcoming the Canton of Vaud is to entrepreneurs who want to grow there. And I'd love to sort of just get your views, both from Anna Louise's experience and from Frederick and Olivier, about how you facilitate that.
Yeah, I mean, I can start. It's really warm. It's really helpful. It's really forthcoming. It's really understanding. It's understanding what more businesses need is like half the battle won. And so we got so much support from this region and so much openness, right? Openness to work with us, even though we weren't a spin out from one of the Swiss institutions. And so I think that really made it a pleasure to be here and work together and find routes through our validation matrix that we have to go through in order to bring our product to market.
Yes, and I think that's also how the country is working. The idea behind all what we try to put in place also at the political level is to keep a certain level of freedom to operate for the companies. And you can see that, for instance, very well with the labor law, which is very flexible in Switzerland. It's really easy to hire someone, but if you need, you can also fire them quite easily, which in a lot of jurisdictions, at least in Europe, becomes very complicated. So this also let entrepreneurs somewhat take the risks when they need to hire people, but if the things goes a bit less good or need to change the direction and change the profiles, then you have this liberty to do what you need for the sake of the company. And I think this is really the spirit that we have in Switzerland. We try not to legislate too much, even though it's always a bit too much, but to let really the companies thrive. You're on mute, Olivier.
Sorry about that. So let me just maybe add one word. I mean, again, I'm going to play for my church. Vaud is known as a champion of innovation, and there's a high level of entrepreneurship here, mindset, which is quite common to a lot of entrepreneurs here. So there's again this collaboration aspect. So it's quite an open network when you are here. And you can again tap into and collaborate, discuss. So it's quite a vibrant place, and this is what we have built at Biopol, so that again this community can learn from each other, connect to each other, and so on. So that's pretty key. But I think this is quite special to Innovo, also based on the presence of EPFL, which is again a deep tech factory. I would say EPFL is one of the top engineering schools in the world. So this drives a lot of innovation and a lot of spin-off and so on. And Louisa mentioned venture leaders and venture lab and so on. So this national startup, I would say, supporting organization. So there's a lot from the state that you can again get access to, but also there is a mindset to bring innovation to market. And the challenge, I would say, is the quicker the better. So this is always where we try to help to speed up things.
And then that plays very nicely again into another big brand play, which is the level of Swiss expertise manifested by companies like Rolex. The nurturing of high-level talent and how important that is in the ecosystem. Again, Anna Louisa, that was a key pivot for you, wasn't it, in coming in?
Yeah, I suppose the manufacturer we work with is very unique and therefore really important to us. And the technologies that are being used are, we work with very small things. If you think of implants, they can't be big because they go into your body. And so it was really that precision approach to manufacturing that was unlike anything else that we could find in the world. And so for us, that was like a big unlock in terms of making our technology a reality. And so so their background is in the watch space, but I think there's a lot to be learned in many industries, not just hardware, medical devices, but the same goes to speak in the biotech sector and the therapeutic sector.
Yeah, and there's also more and more coming on the data side. I mean, we all know that AI is a game changer, or machine learning and so on. And there is a big push right now, big growth for more AI companies on site. And the new organization, I mean, started as a spin-off from EPFL and ETH. So the Swiss Data Science Center is going to set up all the operations here at Biopol. So this is more the AI and data science arm of the two engineering school in universities in Switzerland, setting up at Biopol. So to be close, again, this proximity to be close to companies, to help companies and organizations to transition, to move quicker to data science and AI, because again, that's also a game changer, and that's crucial to have this expertise, to come back to, again, expertise, to have this on site. And this is where the kind of work for us, which is important to have center of excellence close to our innovators.
And going back finally to sort of outreach, Frederic, I'm conscious that you just done a really interesting strategic relationship with Singapore, haven't you?
Yes, actually, of course, we are trying a lot of different countries and working quite close with different ones, but we are quite active in Singapore. As an example, we have had last week a session in Singapore for Swiss entrepreneurs that wanted to also learn from the IMD Business Management School of Lausanne, which actually prepared a special course for these companies to learn more about how to expand into Asia. And this took place in Singapore. So this is also the kind of links that we can offer for companies. And we also try to do that with other countries. We have had an economic mission 1 month ago to India, which is a very important and interesting market as well. So we try in different places, again, to help the local entrepreneur expand their activities in other countries.
And I'm just also conscious of the outreach that I'm seeing with Innovo into not just London in the UK, but Cambridge, Manchester and other places, and building that city-to-city relationships, whether it's Singapore, Manchester, Lausanne, it's super important, isn't it?
Sure, but the big advantage of the UK is the proximity. I mean, it's really easy to commute from Manchester, London, or Glasgow into Geneva and Lausanne. Of course, when you go to Singapore, it's another journey. And again, I think this is what makes sense also, and I think Ana Luisa is a very nice example of that, to have a foot in both ecosystems and take the best out of the two systems is really an additional value for companies. So again, more than happy, and this is really our role at Innovo to invite companies that have a project or want to investigate what is feasible to do here in the region to come over for a visit. We can go and meet with Olivier at Biopol, maybe with EPFL stakeholders, the companies. We really customize visits according to the needs of companies that really wish to expand some of their activities into our region.
And that plays very nicely, if I can, to bring Philippa back into the conversation. And obviously, as one nucleus, the activity and the focus of your members looking beyond shores of the UK to places like Switzerland is of great interest. And perhaps, Philippa, you can maybe, just as we conclude this piece, just give us your sense and views of how you see Lausanne helping your members.
And yeah, I mean, as I said, I think it's important, and what we're hearing from our members is they want to consider opportunities beyond the UK. And as you said, it's really about creating those city-to-city connections just to build on that innovation. A lot of what we hear from the members, particularly those that are taking a more virtual model, is that they do have to consider connections further afield. And I think in terms of advice that I'd give people considering Lausanne as an ecosystem, particularly given how well it complements the UK, is my advice would very much, treat it as a strategic R&D partnership, not just a new location. I think a lot of people get drawn into places because of the location value, but it's really about maximising, build those local collaborations, explore any local innovations and incentives, and also adapt to that local business culture, so you can integrate effectively but also plan for the long term. So that would be my overarching advice.
Thank you, Philippa. And obviously that again leads into Ana Luisa. And if I could ask you, Ana Luisa, one piece of sort of salient advice that you've benefited from that you could pass on to other entrepreneurs about what you've experienced in Lausanne, what would that be?
I think it's like exploring and is really important, and I guess it's also really important for the entrepreneurship journey. It's not a straight line at all, and so exploring avenues is really important to see if that's a fit. And so I think it's probably reaching out, and I mean we reached out to many places and we ended here, which is really great. But I think that could help anyone looking at expanding themselves into different regions, because what we do find is that having a mix between two regions gives us a really nice piece of diversity in the business that we wouldn't have if we were just only in one location. And so I think that's also really important to note.
And Olivier, from your perspective, that sense of diversity and expertise, that it's an intoxicating mix, isn't it, that you have in Biopol?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Biopol, we're labeled Switzerland Innovation Park because we have world-class research on site, a lot around oncology and immunology, immuno-oncology. But the way we designed Biopol is not just a oncology hub. So we wanted, again, to broaden the support to any type of industries in life sciences. So we're pretty agnostic. And this diversity is a major, I would say, ingredient for innovation. And again, to come back maybe to the data side, we see that all these medtech, biotech, health tech, whatever, they all converge on the data side. So data is really the converging point. And this is why, referring to the Swiss Data Center and so on, we want to expand, and we're going to expand this network of expertise on the data side, which is also very strong at EPFL. So that's also a new models to explore, to leverage, and again, we have the disposal of the companies to take advantage of this network. But back to a conference I attended at the PFL a few months ago on data science and so on. There was this accelerator called Y Combinator, and which is the largest incubator accelerator in the world, based in San Francisco. And they said that the past 3 years, all the companies were only AI companies, developing the business 2 times faster, raising 2 times more funding than any other companies. So there's a major shift. It's not all about AI, but I mean, AI is, or data is a strong component now of innovation. And I think we have also good networks here. Switzerland was a bit late, I would say, in taking advantage of these technologies, but now they are really speeding up, and we are part of the game.
Thank you, Olivier. And finally, if I can ask Frederic maybe to just do a wrap. What's been so important is how Innovo represents all these different elements and brings it all together, and how important your role is in engaging with companies who want to expand and land into Lausanne.
Yes, somehow, honestly and humbly, we are the one-stop shop for foreign companies. So please do not hesitate to contact us directly, and then we will, of course, let you meet with the relevant people you need, again, first to investigate the region as an opportunity for expansion, and then when you are here, also to develop your business. So we are not unique in terms of stakeholder, but we are the first point of contact for foreign companies. So please don't hesitate to come to me, ask any question, and we'll help as much as possible.
Well, thank you all. I'm going to call you a qualitative quartet. You've been brilliant at expressing both the need and the opportunity that is in Switzerland, and that's answered and can grow, help companies grow. Thank you all. Thank you to Philippa from One Nucleus, Olivier from Biopol, Anna Louisa from Impli, and of course Frederic from Innovo. Until the next time, thank you all, and all the very best.